Hey guys, we'll be starting in about 4 minutes. Thank you so much for your patience. Now, I know what you're thinking, but you're safe here. It's okay to not be okay. And self-love is always going to be the best love. Self-care is going to be the best care. Now, join me as we let out some steam, become a little less stressed and more carefree. Come join me over our weekend detox, and let's detox together, because we always want to protect our energy. Alright guys, I'm sorry about that. I didn't know if the audio was playing because I don't know what's going on with my life right now. Low key, don't know. Possibility that, I've completely lost my shit, but it's alright. Hi guys, what's good? Welcome to Reiku's Weekend Detox, featuring my uncle, yet again. This time, he's actually on video! I'm trying to make sure I finish sending out these links. Y'all know I'm horrible at this. And I think he's still muted. I don't know if he's muted. He might still be muted.
I was muted. I'm sorry.
You see this? I see this. I try to be doing some stuff with him and try to make sure that he's aware that he's a part of this lovely community of bonds, spiritual links, and other kinks and stuff. And yeah. But he treated me so dirty. Would you like to give an introduction for yourself, sir? Because y'all know who I am. I'm your friendly neighborhood witch. If this is your first time coming to this podcast, welcome to the team. And if you don't know, now you know. I've been here 3 years. Y'all been dealing with me and my emotional ass bullshit. We are healing, not healed. Okay?
Healing, not healed.
We are healing, not healed. Okay? Hey guys.
I'm healed. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh. Alright. So, with that being said, as you guys were here last episode, this is my uncle. And this is my uncle not just saying, oh, that's my family, and me just bullshitting. This is my legitimate uncle that unfortunately I have to claim. And I wish sometimes I never met him. I'm joking.
Ain't that some shit? I'm the best family member that walked in your life.
Oh. I didn't know I had an uncle until I was like 9. I didn't know my mom had siblings until I was like 9 years old. I was like, dang. And he ain't that much older than me. Now we the best of friends. But anywho, I joke around and I tell people this is my twin. This is basically a person who's been kind of keeping me grounded and sane for the last like month and a half. Dealing with me talking about I've been in the shower crying.
And I tell you, grow some balls.
He tells me to man the fuck up in a heartbeat. First and foremost, before we get into that, other than my uncle introducing himself, and I hope you guys are sharing links, telling people about it, saying, hey, we're live, and everything else like that. And before I, lose my train of thought, I had a moment where I sat down and I started crying this week because of the bond I created with somebody, and I didn't realize that I actually created a bond with somebody, and it took my uncle kind of getting me into the reality of some things, that I did some as he should, but before I start, how you doing, huh?
I'm good. I'm amazing. I've been out for that many days. So I just been relaxing.
As you sitting over here playing video games and distracted and stuff?
No, see, I'm quitting right now. I'm leaving the game. They just gonna be mad. I have more money anyway. But
so my uncle is currently live playing video games, and
It be like that sometimes.
he's living his best and fullest life, and I can't be mad at him. Um,
Especially with this
ultimately,
time off I've had, you know how stressful my job is. So just to have
so
these like 5 days off and relax, recover, get my mental together. I'm
and
all
I
good.
love that for you. I really do. I truly love that for you because honestly, we don't take time for ourselves and everything else like that. I could honestly say one thing that me and my uncle have, and I mentioned in the last episode, which caused us to come to today's subject, is me and my uncle has like this bond. And I came to him when I was asking him, if I wasn't your niece, would you still come to bat for me? He's like, it's about the bond you created and the bond that we have with each other. It's not just that I'm his niece and he's my uncle. It's like, it's deeper than that because at the end of the day, we could be family members and not like each other.
Yeah, and you have family members that you don't talk to for days, months, years, like for lifetime, just because that bond isn't there.
Exactly. And one thing about me and him is we got into such a habit of calling each other every single day for the last month that I literally turned around and I was just like, you know what? I've realized that, I can't get out of this routine that we created because ultimately it's one of those things where he kind of gets me. He gets me with things that don't need to be explained, doesn't need to be said when it comes down to him. Like I can sit here and tell him, the world is going through, and I don't have to really go into deep. I can just say I'm in a bad mood, and he kind of already gets it. So it's like that silent bond that we have with each other, where I don't have to go into full details on what's going on. Do I go into full details? Have you met me? I'm just saying. Have you guys met me? Ultimately, I tend to. It happens. Um, but when it comes down to it, I literally tell people, and I'm trying to get the chat back up because I can't see it with the way that my stuff is set up. Because
I just thought you was blind.
I'm blind as fuck. Yep. We're gonna go back on me and my eyesight and me wearing contacts today. So leave me alone. Mind your business. Um, I'm gonna disown him. He's gonna get disowned probably tomorrow. I'm gonna sell him for a chip. Um, so me and him, we can make jokes with each other and we don't take offense. Like the bond that me and my uncle have, you wouldn't even think that we're like niece and uncle. You would think that we're like brother and sister because of how we joke with each other. Because he tells me he's gonna trade me in for a bag of chips all the fucking time.
Cool Ranch Doritos, don't fuck it up. It's not just any bag.
I'm surprised you ain't about to sit here and tell them the story about how my fat ass,
Yes,
realized what
you
chips
tell
you
them
try.
that story.
I am
Tell them
not
that
telling them
story.
shit.
So
Okay.
you're not gonna sit here and tell them how we was on the phone and you heard me eating and you told me exactly what I was eating, the brand, and everything. You're not gonna tell them that.
Nah, nah, nah,
That's fucked up.
nah. Nope,
Not even to
nope,
hear it. So,
nope, nope,
nope.
nope.
That's
I don't want to talk about that because that's not what we're gonna talk about. But I know my uncle, so I know exactly where the fuck he was
no.
eating and
You was
everything
just
else like
hungry on
that.
some fat shit.
And the thing is, like the bond that me and him have, it's like I have different bonds with different people. Like my A1 since day one, which is my cousin. I can literally tell you like we have a bond, but then me and my uncle has a different bond. The bonds that I've created with every person in my life has been slightly different. And it's like I've realized that certain people I created, I had bonds. I've had bonds just because I didn't want to be alone. I created bonds with people I shouldn't have created bonds with. I mean, I've had sexual bonds with people. I've had spiritual bonds to people. And one thing that me and my uncle was discussing was people turning around and um, using their children as a way to create an intimacy bond. Replacement boyfriends, replacement, like they're using their children as replacements for relationships. And that's what kind of made us nosedive into this subject. And then we are also talking about me and my ex as per usual because I'm still not over this shit as I should be. He's like, ain't this about a bitch? She still ain't over this shit. But he knows, and he's very patient. My uncle may joke about it, talk about we need to be over it. We need to be on somebody's beach getting bitches all the time.
Fuck bitches get money.
Oh Lord Jesus. But the thing is, like, I tell people like this. Like we stated in the last episode, everybody grieves different. Everybody processes different. So if you're not ready to let go of that bond, you don't have to let it go. You just have to process it. Don't force it. Let it go on its natural terms, natural agreements, this, that, and the third. So when it comes down to it, I've created a lot of bonds in my life. And if you guys don't remember, I told you guys that at one point in time, I was a serial dater. Like straight up like that. I was one of those people dating whoever, would look my way because I needed a bond. And for me, I didn't realize, and it took me doing some researches for this subject alone, that me having abandonment issues caused me to have traumatic bonds. It was literally forcing me to be in a relationship with people who were just as damaged to me, if not more damaged, because I was so used to being in a caretaker role that I had to be with damaged people. Like, I got to a point where that's literally how my life got. It got really unhealthy real quick. Oh no, I broke things. I sent my uncle something about traumatic bonds versus healthy ones and how to deal with them. I'm actually trying to pull that up, but he might have it, and he might get to it before I do.
Like my daughter is just texting me to my, can I get this app so I can approve it for her real quick.
Aw, the baby. Speaking of which, that's a daddy-daughter bond, and he loves his tiny potato.
Yes, love her to death. Nobody
That's
will
his
ever come
tiny
above her.
potato. So we could sidebar and talk about that parent bond thing that we've been talking about that's been a little weird. About how
Yes.
moms use their sons as replacement husbands.
Yeah, and that's like how we was talking about on social media how I've seen a lot of women call their sons "bay," and like that's just for me it's not okay. But that's weird. It's very fucking weird. Like let these kids be kids. Like don't put this type of um I don't want to say so much label or stigma. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but don't put that title on a kid. Or let your child be your child.
I mean, I get the whole calling him little king and handsome and this, that, and the other, talking about he's gonna be a lady killer, because I think that is okay. That's normal because you're boosting your child up. You're giving them words of affirmation. But then when you call here and talking about that's my bae and I'm going on a date with like those are that's fine too. But some of these women do take it a little overboard when it comes down to their sons and their relationships and their bonds with their kids. Some of them, they do take it a little bit further, because especially like single moms and they have sons, they will really sit here and they will crack down on that. Oh, well, he's basically who needs a man when I got my child, um and this, that, and the other. And I'm like, can you understand that this is still your son, and the bond that you have with your child is great to an extent. Some people can over abuse it. Some people can, use their children as replacements for, love. And it's not the type of love that you can get. And some women take it to a full obsession. Um,
Perfect
the,
example. Like I'll see on social media, I've seen it a few times where they'll have like their son pumping gas. This kid is probably like somewhere between 3 and maybe 6 years old, and then they'll caption like oh, my son said, "Mommy, you don't have to do this out." No, your son didn't say that shit. Like your son is not that advanced. Your son is not 5, 6 year old telling you, "Mommy, you don't have to pump the gas. I'll do it. I'll be the man." No, that's you being delusional.
I mean, there is some kids that are very intelligent. Look at your tiny potato.
She's
But
very intelligent, but she's not gonna ever in life touch a gas pump.
exactly.
She's
And the thing
never
is,
gonna
I
be
can
like,
get teaching them young to do the respectful thing, but then trying to sit here and you match your child with you and talk about we're matching, we're twinsies, we're this, that, and the other, then that kind of gets a little bit in a weird sense. And a lot of women who do this, usually they don't find fulfillment in like real relationship with
yeah,
men, so they use their children as replacements.
yeah,
And my biggest fear was, like, the whole reason I was deciding to do a solo pregnancy, it was like I'm not using a child to replace a man. I'm not doing that. I just realized that with our generation, a lot of them don't know how to. We know how to break up. Our generation knows how to break up.
I
We don't know
agree.
how to stay in a relationship. We don't know how to stay committed. We know how to formulate bonds and then break bonds. We don't know how to keep promises. We know how to break promises. It's like we don't know how to do anything healthy. And a lot of people are trying to change those habits, yes, but they're so far and in between that a lot of people still don't have that. It's not like the older generation where, they sit here and the man cheats, but then yet they stay together just for appearances for the kids. It's to the point where now our generation is like, I don't need you. There's plenty of fish in the sea. Again, coming back to that city girl and city boy culture where they don't really need to stay in a relationship. They could find somebody better. You're looking for perfection when there's
Yeah.
no such thing as perfection. Nobody's perfect. I tell
And you got
people
to think
I'm
about too.
imperfectly. Go ahead.
You got to think about too. The times then and now are completely different. You didn't have a lot of social media encouragement. You didn't have a lot of news media encouragement. I don't think things were nowhere near as toxic then as they are now. If so, they were very well hidden. I remember, I'm a young tender age of 35, but even I could feel motherfucker.
I have to drop that in there real quick, didn't you?
I had to, but I can remember when I was, in my late teens, early 20s, even mid 20s, like toxicity wasn't glorified.
Oh,
Like
it's
it was,
super glorified now.
yeah, it's super glorified now, but it wasn't nothing that everybody wanted. Like I don't want to sit here and fight with my significant other after I then came home from work fighting with everybody in the world. Like I want my significant other to be my peace. I want my
Say it one
significant
more
other
time.
to relax me, to calm me, to take me away from the bullshit that I faced out on the outside world. The home should be a peaceful place. A home should be a safe haven.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't want that these days, and that's why you got a lot of people single, not by choice either.
And you know what?
I'll drink to that.
I will gladly drink for me because I can't do it. But ultimately, the way I look at it is this: I agree, and the thing is, me and you talk about this so much. We sit here and prioritize toxic culture so much that we don't understand the concept of peace. We don't understand the concept of being at home, being peaceful, not having, because the world is already against you. And I'm
Yeah.
speaking for somebody who is a POC. The world is still very much against us. And
And will forever be against us.
exactly. So as a black man, I feel like you would understand that coming home to not having toxic, to argue, all this other stuff, and all you're trying to do is be a good man, make sure your household's straight, to come home to peace, which is your household.
Yeah, that's what I would want.
And that's the type of bond you're trying to have. You're trying to you want to find home, which home is supposed to be your sanctuary. It's not supposed to be a place where you're already battling outside to come back and battle more. Like when I get into, like when I have partners that want to sit here and fight, like I pick and choose my battles for a reason. And sometimes it makes me come off a little emotionless, but I've realized that sometimes you have to realize what is worth battling and what's not fighting over. Like if you sit here and you want to just start shit and pick violence and want to just have an egg on, I'll be like, you know what? You're wanting to have this. I'm not going to because it's not worth it. My piece is too important.
Yeah, and at that point they can go kick rocks with open toe sandals because I'm not gonna deal with it. I'm
But
just being honest. They can go ahead but a wooden spoon. I don't care. Like just leave me alone.
then that again, our generation, we know how to break up. And the thing is, we have so much fear of being heartbroken they sit here and talk about how strong our generation is. Our generation is actually fucking weak. I'm sorry. I hate to say it. We are so quick to run away when things get tough. We don't want to sit here and work through things. We just sit here and like, I'd rather drop you than deal with the shit together. We don't know how to overcome shit like our older generations. They overcame shit. Like,
yeah.
We don't want to do that. A lot of us don't want to put in the work and the effort. And no offense, our parents made us lazy. So when it comes down to relationships, the moment we get into a relationship, we start forming a bond with somebody, we want to drop it because shit get tough. Financial get tough. Spiritually get tough. Oh, damn, somebody else is sitting here and I have a pick and choose because this girl got a BBL and she walked past me real quick and said, "Hey, did you hydrate today?" And all you too busy is you more in lust with her than in love, and now you're gonna leave something good at home because of lust.
Grass ain't green on the other side all the time.
And I tell people like this: I am a very patient person. I may be a millennial, but I was raised in a different mindset. I was raised to stick it out. If you really want to put up with it, if you really truly in love with somebody, you won't deal with the bullshits, the ups and downs, when they're broke, when you're broke, when they don't have a job. Like, I went through a lot of shit with the people that I have real strong bonds with that I didn't need to, but I did it because I thought I was in love or I was in love.
Yeah, I mean, it happens. I've done it before too.
And that's a bond thing. That's not something like, I'm not talking like these little in-between relationships that I had when I was a, serial dater, because I admit my faults. I remember I was real bad, but the thing is, I also learned as I was a serial dater that bonds come in different forms. It's not just in relationship. You can form sexual bonds, spiritual bonds. It gets bad.
Yeah, that is true. And a sexual bond can hold a lot over somebody.
That could. I joke, but I'm dead serious when I say this. I have people who still check up on me to this day to see if I'm still stupid because of sex. Just because of sex. And that was a sexual bond. Like, I wasn't in love with these people. You would never hear me talk about these people. Like, full blown. I was like, oh my God, so me and so, this, that, and the third. And these are people, like, they're, like, in my past, in my like, habitual dating phases that I created sexual bonds with, that I put too much down too quick.
See, you can't be doing that shit. You gotta give them 50%.
That's why I don't do that no more. And the thing is, like, I got told by, like, my ex, like, sex was boring because I wouldn't get out of my head. I was like, girl, I'm trying not to, like, you don't understand what's going through my head. Like, I'm trying to hold on to the memories, and I'm not trying to put too much down too quickly. First and foremost, how stupid would I be if I put too much down too quickly and we only like a couple months in? No, I gotta leave the element of surprise. I done created people, like, I've had a dude literally threaten to fucking slash my tires.
Be like that sometimes. I've been told
it shouldn't be like that. I don't.
I've been told if I can't have you, nobody can. I've been told that before. Like, I've been told a whole bunch of shit.
Oh, I've been told that too. I literally had my first girlfriend as an adult, and I wasn't in love with her. She thought that I cheated on her. But me and her, we really wasn't together for, like, long. We were together for, like, maybe, like, 30 to 60 days. And I was, like, at her place, like, every time I could. And I was like, hey, I'm going to go. This is when I was still kind of having, like, cereal and all that other stuff. I went to go get milk. And she accused me of cheating on her walking up the street, like, 20 minutes to go get milk. She accused me of cheating on her. She was like, no. And I say this. This is going to be explicit as fuck. And I'm so sorry, guys, if you're listening to this. She literally looked at me, and as I walked in the door, she's like, you went to go fuck a dude, because she was a lesbian that, like, she never really wanted to fuck girls who fuck dudes. She's like, I don't want you to, like, you used to fuck guys, you're gonna cheat on me with a dude. I'm like, I'm not gonna cheat on you, I'm with you, we're still talking. I broke up with her the moment she sat here and told me, pull your panties down, I need to make sure you didn't come. Wait, what the fuck? Wait, what?
That's some real psychotic ass shit.
Bruh, I broke up with her. I didn't stay with her because I was like, my mental health, like, I'm crazy, but I'm not this level crazy, and I can't be with another crazy person. So I broke up with her, and she She actually stalked my phone for a good 3 or 4 weeks. I know it was another month. She kept contacting me, and I think she was the first person I blocked. I've only have like 4 blocked contacts in my phone, like
I'm sorry,
numbers blocked.
motherfuckers.
I don't block people. You have to do some real life threatening shit, because other than that, I'm just done. She literally knew where I was always hanging out, and she popped up on me a few times there. She knew where I worked, but then the fact that you blowing up my phone like every 4 weeks, I'm like, I can't do that. And mind you, I was like in my mid early 20s. This is right before I got with Quinn, and the only reason I mentioned his name and why he's even relevant because again he was the one I got pregnant by. That was the last person I was pregnant by. Other than that, everybody else irrelevant as fuck. But no, that was a bad bond. That was a bad bond, and that
You
was
know,
sexual.
unfortunately, we grow bad bonds with people.
And
Everybody don't have the same intentions. Some people have good intentions. Some people have bad intentions. Some people don't even know what the fuck their intentions are.
some people don't, and some people's bonds form so quickly it can actually scare them. Like I
I've
can
been in a
honestly,
situation like that.
huh?
I've been in a situation like that.
I'm gonna be straight up and honest with you, and this is why this is what I told my therapist. This is why I told everybody. When it came down to my ex, I fell in love so quickly, and I felt a bond with him so quickly, and it was the quickest I've ever felt a bond. Usually for me, it takes about 6 months to a year, before I start feeling really much of anything for anyone. If you can get there, and I don't know if it was the fact that this is the first real major relationship I've had since my divorce and my separation, because I have tried to talk and date other people, but I still didn't feel the same way. Like I
Right.
didn't feel anything. Like my heart didn't beat nothing. And it scared me so much that I actually at one point in time kind of closed off emotionally because I was so scared of how quickly it was going. I felt like I was a rocket with no fucking I felt like I was in a speeding car with failed brakes.
No shit, that's not good.
And it was literally intoxicating, but then like the intoxicating feel of the thrill, but then at the same time it was just like I didn't feel like I was scared. In like if it was like if I crash, but then I'm also scared because it's moving so fucking fast. Like the panic was there, but then the euphoria like it was there. So it for me that was weird because I formed a bond quickly. I can't speak on him, but I can speak on me. But I formed a bond with him quickly, and that's the reason why the shit hurts me as much as it did, because the reality of it is what it is.
I had somebody who I formed a really, really, really quick bond with. It was it was really quick. She told me she loved me after like 2 days.
Ooh, did you
Like
put too much down on her real quick?
I haven't even fuck. I didn't even fuck her yet. It was literally 2 days. But it was like maybe weeks, maybe months, and I wouldn't even. Let's just say weeks because it was really fast. We were finishing each other's sentences. Like we had a real spiritual connection. Like when she hurt, I heard it. Like one time I was like, my stomach hurt, and she was like, "What the fuck did you just say?" I was like, "Yeah, my stomach hurt." She was like, "I literally just said that to my daughter, that my stomach hurt at the same time you said it." Like we would do shit like that was happening all the time. Like, it's not scary because I had never formed a bond like that with anybody, not even my ex-wife. So it was on some like, damn, could this be like a soulmate type deal?
When I tell you this particular one scared me because my first boyfriend, we didn't start getting to the point of me sensing something was wrong with him into maybe 2 years in, and I really didn't feel like I loved him or what I thought was love at the time, because we don't really know if
What?
what we experience as love is until we like really experience love, because I thought for the longest I was in love multiple times in my life. And then somebody brought me to the reality that I actually fell in love with, like, for the first time in my life with my ex. And it's so sad. And even my therapist confirmed it when I talked to her. Now, I'm really sad because I ain't gonna have her no more as a therapist. But ultimately, I thought all the bonds that I created was, that of love. And sometimes, even if you may be in a relationship with somebody and you form bonds with certain people, they may not actually be meant to be lovers. Well, they meant to be a lover experience, but still have a bond with them, but not a full blown in love experience where you're feeling that the joys, the feeling of, disappointment, hurt, because sometimes the first time you get hurt in your real life is actually with your first love. And
I
sometimes you
agree.
may, and I think that's the reason why this one hurts me so much, because the fact to be, like, I have literally been broken up with so many times. My high school love, I think the only reason why I felt hurt was because that was a he cheated on me situation. And when he cheated on me, then everything after that has happened and occurred between me and him, I just didn't feel anything. I think I just felt more betrayal than anything because he was the only person I didn't hate.
So, with you feel like you was being in love and all this stuff, were any love languages being filled?
Oh, love language.
I had to throw that in there
Ooh, love languages.
because that's a whole nother topic.
So let's talk about this. How do you truly know what your love language is?
Good question.
What are the love languages? Let's go ahead and talk about that because I'm actually about to change my lighting, so you have the flow.
I'm not gonna get into all the love languages, but I'm gonna speak on my love languages. Words of affirmation, quality time.
Okay, okay,
It's
okay.
nothing like spending quality time with a person.
Quality
In the
time is
beginning,
important.
yeah, in the beginning, when you're spending quality time with a person, you're spending quality time with their representative. It's unfortunate. It's
What
just
do you
how
mean
shit
by
is.
representative?
The person who they portray to be when you first meet them, the person who they are to get you to like them, the person who they are to make the first impressions, second impression, third
Okay.
impression. Because impressions means everything.
That I agree to. I can attest to. I can attest to. My
When you
biggest thing is, when does the representative disappear?
in between 6 months to a year, I
6 months to
feel
a year.
like in my opinion, I feel like that's enough time for you to know who you're dealing with, or it should be enough time for you to know who you're dealing with.
True. But if that person knows themselves, of course.
Yeah,
So, back to the love languages. Mine is weird, and me and you kind of dived into it before this podcast.
yeah, that's why I want to go into it because we just touched.
I'm weird. I am weird. I am still hypersexual. So touch is a love language, but I don't also need to have sex. Like, I need to touch the person I'm with. I'm a firm believer of, even if you're mad at me at night, I need you to come lay next to me and so I could touch you. I need to know you're okay. I need to know you're here. I need your presence. But I also know with my industry, I can't really get that love language always fulfilled. So touch for me is important, but it also has to be from the right person, which is something you mentioned to me. That
Because
touch can be a good love language if it's from the right person.
everybody can't touch you the right way.
Not everybody can touch you the right way, and when I tell
And
you,
when I say touch you the right way, I don't I don't mean in a sexual manner either. It could be, let's say, because it's happened to me. I've had people touch my leg and I feel nothing, nothing at all. But I've had people touch my leg and I just get that tingly butterfly type of feel.
it's
So
beautiful.
it's very beautiful. So everybody can't. You look just like your fucking mama, but everybody can't touch you the right way. So like it has to be the right person, and they have to know how to be gentle with the touch. And even if you
It's the
going in a
feeling
sexual
that you
manner,
have with
yeah,
them.
Yeah, and if you're going in a sexual manner, they have to have a very sensual touch.
Yep. I can honestly say like this. I can agree, and you had me think about it because touch is a love language for me. And I actually had to dive into my memory bank, and I'm like, there's been some occasions where people touch me and I felt disgusted, or people touch me and I didn't feel nothing. And this could be like we're cuddling after sex, where I hug this person or something, and I don't feel nothing. Or I feel disgusted, like, bro, can you, like, I'm not trying to be rude, but can you not do that?
Yeah.
And then it's like, it was weird because what made me realize, and this is how I realized, like, my love language was being hit the way I wanted it to, because I love quality time.
Love it.
I love acts of service. I don't care for gift giving. So if you sit here and you give me a gift, I'm gonna look at you like, what you do? Because I was in an abusive household where one somebody who literally every time they did wrong, they would buy somebody gifts and be like, hey, I'm sorry, here's some chocolates and some candy, and I'm gonna take you to your favorite food place. Now, so I'm a little, don't do that.
See, I'm good. I'm good at gift giving and acts of services. I've done it before. I could be sitting there working, and be, like, you know what? I miss this little ugly motherfucker. Let me send some edible
Damn.
arrangements or something.
Damn,
Let me
like
send,
that? I
I
miss this
know,
little
right?
ugly old motherfucker. I'm gonna send her some edible arrangements. I'm gonna
Let me.
remember that when you finally get a girl and then she like, I got some edible arrangements. I can imagine he calling you an ugly motherfucker as he was ordering these these edible arrangements for you. Then she'd be like, what?
Right, exactly. So I'll send edible arrangements. I'll whatever it is that I know that they like. I'll send roses, flowers. Those motherfuckers expensive too. But just me thinking about I love this person. I just want to make them feel special. I want to make sure that
And
they know that I'm here. They know that I care. They know that they have my full undivided
and you're
attention.
present.
Yeah, always present.
Yes. The presence is a present. So the thing is, like, for me, like I said, gift giving's not one. But my major ones is words of affirmation, quality
That's
time,
huge for me.
and
Affirmation and quality time.
oh my goodness, those I sat here and when I like you, and I mean not just love you, but like you, because you can love someone and not like
I'm
them.
not like them. Yep. And a lot of people don't understand that.
That's true. And it's to the point where even the things that would normally piss you off about any other person, but if you like someone, that shit don't matter to you.
Yep.
If I like you, time seems to go too fucking quickly. So I want to spend all my fucking time with you. Because that is a love language to me. And understanding your partner's love language, especially when you're bonding with someone, is important. So you like giving gifts. What if that's not their love language? I like being told that I need reassurance and I need words of affirmation. So in relationships, when somebody tells me they're proud of me, I can get told I'm proud by anybody in my family, friend circle, whatever. But that special someone I got a bond with, they tell me how proud they are of me. I'm sitting here melting like fucking butter.
Exactly. And I'm glad you asked that question. Like, what if they don't like gift giving? I would know that because we would have had that conversation. I feel like every couple should have the conversation about love languages.
And some
I
people
feel
don't
like,
even know what their love language is.
so
Some
you're
people
right. Some
don't.
people don't. And then you should probably sit back and think like, okay, this is what I like. This is what I want. This is what makes me feel good. Like they have books on this shit, like Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, wherever you can get an ebook, read them, help you figure out what your love language is. Like they're there. Internet, everybody got a smartphone.
But that's just it. How in the world can you expect somebody to love you if you don't even know how to love you?
You can't.
Sorry, I had to double check on something because it was telling me that it was buffering. So I was like, let me check this screen and see what's going on here.
No, you all good.
So ultimately, for me, I had to find out that what my love languages are. And sometimes because of the career that I decide to take, it's kind of hard to do that. And a lot of people don't realize that me, the profession I decide. That's just like you dating somebody who's in the military and your quality time is your love language and they on deployment. The
That
fuck?
shit'll never work.
That shit will never work.
It
Well,
would
you can
never
make it
work.
work.
No, you know you can't.
I've made it work.
I'm telling you from personal experience.
Look, y'all got different experience. I'm gonna just let you know that. You
And
you
then
you keep dating these little girls and stuff that is in that whole I can find somebody else culture. I know.
like it wasn't even that. She wasn't like that though.
It
She
is
fought.
what it
She fought.
is.
She fought. She fought. She fought. She fought. I would never take that away from her. I was over it. I was done. I quality time. You're in a whole nother fucking country.
I get it. I mean, there's other ways to do like you guys can kind of reference back to the podcast episode of long distance relationship and making it work. A lot of military spouses I've met, their love language is quality time, and sometimes being understanding of the situation can help you out, or situational awareness. And it's about open communication and going and doing the things that you need to kind of do when it comes down to that. Some people don't know how to be situationally aware. Some people don't understand that, okay, well, my partner needs this. Some people are not ready to end up catering to their partner's needs, and that's the problem too. Like, you sit here and hear what your partner's love language is and everything else, and you're too afraid to create those bonds with them.
Yeah.
Like, so now you're not going to cater to their love language. For me, I know quality time is my thing, so I know work comes first. Because at the end of the day, I have to do my job. My job is safety. So what I'll do in return is I will sit here and call them on my overnights. I will call them when I have free time. I would sit here and text them when I have free time. If I'm in the middle of doing a job where I can be able to quickly send them a text message and say, hey, I missed you, this, that, and the other. Because that means I'm invested. Because that's my love language, and I'm getting it from the person I want to get it from.
Yeah.
Versus
Now
me entering the table.
think about this though. Obviously, our professions are night and fucking day, right? But we do have similarities in our profession. And when I say we have similarities, um, we both have time periods where there's absolutely no fucking chance that we can answer the phone, right or wrong.
That is correct.
So
That is a true statement.
yeah, because it's happened to me before, and it's like, well, A, B, C, and D. You know what I do. You know this comes with the territory. You know that there's gonna be times where I cannot answer the phone, and you know you got somebody who love language is quality time. How do they deal with that? You chose to deal with me. You knew where my profession was.
You
Like why?
can't be mad at that person if they can't give you that at that time. You have a lot of our generation lacks patience. A lot of us are so quick to bounce and not deal with stuff because of lack of patience, lack of understanding, fear, and not having that stand ground like I'm gonna work and get the things that I want in my life.
Yeah, I agree. And you know, I've had people like, "Why didn't you pick up the phone?" You know I'm at work. What you sometimes you don't be doing nothing. Okay, sometimes I don't be doing something, and this is a time where I had to get to whatever needed to be done, and it
I
was
have
no.
other stuff I gotta do with. You got a kid.
Yeah, and that's the only person who would ever get a pass is my child because she don't understand.
Exactly.
She's very she's very intelligent. You and I both know that, but she don't understand how my job is.
Exactly. So she'll call whenever she needs. Like with you, and the thing is, like, even as a person who knows what their partner's love language is and they're willing to work with them or compromise, that person can still sit here and it's like, hey, today was a little crazy with work. I'm sorry I wasn't able to reach out to you. There's other ways to reconstruct that or reinforce that love language, but the person who is the receiver of the love language has to be understanding of where they're coming from
Yeah,
and not kind of come at them sideways about it, which is what a lot of people don't take in consideration.
I agree.
And even for me, like, I know what my love languages are. I know for a fact, and I said this on multiple podcasts, like, if I ever start dating again, I'm most likely going to end up with somebody who has kids. And knowing that my love language is quality time until I'm able to meet their kids, I have to turn around and realize that, okay, cool, I need to take time away and let them do their stuff with their children because their children comes first.
I'm glad you just said that. Remind me to have this conversation offline
Okay.
because
Because,
it's a bit personal.
oh, okay, gotcha. Um, because a lot of people don't realize that the kids come first. You can't sit here and do that. And for me, I've had the understanding of I'm at that point in my life where I'm not selfish. I'm very selfless, but I do like my quality time. Like I know what my love language is. I want you to at least tell me, hey, I was busy. This, that, and the other. Communicate with me. That's why communication is also a love language for me because the fact to be in that, as long as you communicate with me, then I can't assume anything.
Yeah,
If
I
you
agree.
shut it down, and even if it's the quickest you could sit here and be like, hey, this is the only moment I have. I'm sorry I wasn't able to pick up this, that, and the third.
Because you know how needy my child is. I wouldn't even say she's needy. She just spoiled, and she know when she say jump, daddy says how high. So I mean, she got me wrapped around her finger, and it's okay. That's my baby. That's my only child. But and um she don't want daddy dating, but daddy is grown and he don't give a fuck. Like I'm gonna do what I have to do, and you're gonna meet the person, and that's just that. Now, if you just absolutely don't like that person, then it's an issue.
And honestly, I feel like your kids are a good judge of character. Now, don't get me wrong.
They are.
I and don't get me wrong. Children has a spiritual link to people's auras a lot better than adults do, and they have a better sense of judgment than we may give them.
Yep.
And the thing is, like, when I met my ex's kids, he told me his son doesn't like anybody, and the fact that he liked me instantly was a sign for him. And
One
I'm
of
like,
that happened to me recently too. I think I told you about just my friend who I had went out with. She was telling me her son don't like anybody, and he just loved me for whatever reason.
kids can read energy. They can read energy a lot better than some adults do. We don't give kids enough credit for that. And the thing is, like, adult who is not parents to kids that can form a bond with kids is a beautiful thing because not every adult can form a bond with a child,
I agree.
especially in a relationship where this person is not your parent and this person is somebody who is coming in and dating your parent and you're forming a bond with this child. Because I will tell you, it took me a long time to like Tamara, and that's my
Right.
stepmom. I didn't care for her. I was like, I don't know who this woman is. I off rip didn't care for her. Did not care for my mom's ex husband either. Didn't care for him either. And I never
I
formed
still
a
don't
bond
like
with
that
that dude.
motherfucker.
I never formed a bond with him. So
His
as
ass
a
go ahead
person
but a
who,
wheelchair.
uh, psh, I, I
No,
have my own personal opinion about that, and we're gonna keep that to myself. Anywho,
I feel
ultimately,
right now.
children have literally a better understanding of a person's character than parents want to give it. If your
Yep.
child does not like a person, then you should not be around said person. Now, don't get me wrong, children can fake like a person or force themselves to like a person because they've been around for time versus an instant bond. If a child has an instant bond with somebody, that's something totally different.
Yeah,
The the
I
reason
agree.
I was able to deal with Tamara was because that was a time thing. That was a time thing. It wasn't an instant bond. That wasn't an instant connection.
And
Nothing.
you were older too, though.
I was older, but then again, when I met you, I was 9.
Yeah,
Instantly formed a bond with you. And you didn't even form a bond with my brother, which I think it's also deal with the age difference. But
Yeah.
ultimately, we didn't. I didn't form a bond with a lot of people at that age. I didn't form a bond with my stepsister until I got older, and didn't particularly care for her grandfather because I felt like she was trying to replace me in my dad's life. But at the same time, I also didn't like their energy because they kind of gave me hypocritical Christian vibes, and I was still at that whole hate stage in my life.
Well, Christian don't give hypocritical vibes.
We ain't gonna go
That's a
there.
whole nother fucking subject, but okay.
But and then there's been times that I formed instant bonds with people and I just ignored the fuck out of them. But like I said, like when it came to my ex, I don't know. Like the bond came so fucking quickly, my fucking head spin. Because I think this is the quickest I've ever said I love you to anybody. The quickest I've ever been bonded to anybody or wanted to like drop everything for anyone. Because usually I'm selfish as fuck. I'm like, I'm gonna wait a little while. I'm gonna wait a little
Like
while.
when your head spent, was it fast or slow?
It was a fucking fast as fuck.
With that big ass head, how was it that fast? Oh my bad.
Respectfully, I love you.
Damn, I love you too, but you
It's
made,
all out of love. It's all out of love.
you gotta throw a couple jokes in there.
Of course. I
Was
mean,
this
it wouldn't be one of our normal conversations if it wasn't no damn jokes in it. Because me and you, we talk differently than how I talk on my podcast. And the thing is, like, I try to stay as professional as possible. But in retrospect, I'm healing, not healed, and I'm not completely where I want to be yet. And I'm probably never going to be there because healing is a revolving
yeah,
door.
and it's good to give your followers a different perspective from time to time.
Oh yeah, most definitely. One thing I can honestly say, and I'm gonna say it like this: the bond that I have with a lot of my people that follow me is a different bond. Like Malice, one of my mods, I have a bond with him that nobody can fucking replace. Like
And that's good.
yeah, I adore him completely. My ex husband, like I have a bond with him that I will never replace. Like I know for a fact, like subconsciously, I know when things are going to go wrong with him, and even if like at this point, if he was never really my first love or anybody I truly love, I still have a bond with him, and that bond is different than the bond that I've created with other people. Like my ex
Right.
Kyle, like his bond is different. Like this is the first person I was in a serious relationship. He went through hell with me. He witnessed me being abused by my mom. Like he witnessed shit that other people didn't witness. While Damon is like the bond I have with him, he's my first husband. Like he nobody could take that title from him, and I'm still going to bat for him. He's still going to bat for me. I have a bond with his girlfriend. Like I don't have no hate in my heart towards her. I'm like, all right, cool. Oh, he's going through this. Bet. Cool. Oh, you want us to play GTA together? Because she'll sit here and be like, hey, y'all gonna play GTA? And I'm like, yeah. Now, what ex-wife can say that they cool with they damn new
Shit,
the
man,
replacement?
my ex-wife, we don't even speak a word to each other, and I'm okay with that. She going about her business. I'm going about mine.
Ultimately, I have nothing but love for my ex-husband. That bond nobody can ever take. Like nobody can tell me that the bond that I created with him will never know. Other people,
I got love for just about anybody who I've dated. Like I don't, I just want them to live their life. I want them to have a happy, successful life. And like,
so
so this one person, we didn't date. Um, we just messed around. We had sex a couple times, and we figured out we wasn't for each other, and have the best bond that I could even ask for. The best fucking bond.
so the question I have here is because you mentioned that y'all never dated, but y'all did have sex and y'all had like a really great bond. When it comes down to that, and I'm going to transition into this, sexual bonds. As a guy, do you feel as though that you bond to some of the females that you've had sex to?
I mean, obviously, yeah, because her and I, we have a beautiful fucking bond, a beautiful bond,
The
like
thing is, go ahead.
a bond that I personally feel like is gonna be there for a long time, if not forever.
The reason I ask is because society makes us believe that men treat sex transactional. They don't treat it as something to have a connection and everything else like that. That's
I
why I
mean,
have to ask that question.
I've had sex with people that was just transactional.
Do you not feel like that maybe they may have formed a bond with you versus you forming a bond with them?
um, this is gonna sound so bad, so bad.
Oh, you about to put on some fuckboy shit. Hold on, let me sit back for this.
This
I'm not
this this,
ready.
this is gonna sound bad, but the people who I've had transitional sex, do I think they had maybe grew a bond with me? I don't know, and honestly, I don't give a fuck. It was me getting my rocks off, and that's all I cared about. I
We
mean,
all go through a phase. We go
I
through a
didn't give a fuck if
phase.
they had a bond with me or not. Whatever. Just give me the pussy, give me head, whatever it may be, and know about your business. I'll take you home. At least I'm that gentleman like. I ain't gonna put your ass in the Uber.
Oh, see, I don't think I told you the story about the dude who was my friend with the benefits for like a few couple months. Like we weren't dating, but he was like again. I had again abandonment issues. I have to have some kind of title. I need to know that me and you were the only person messing around with each other. Stuff that this, that, and the third. So I had a friends with benefits when I was roughly freshly 21 because I wasn't with Kyle and I really wasn't anyone serious. I at that point. So I had a friends with benefits, and this dude, I told him I was like, look, I'm not in the mood to catch feelings. I'm at that point. I was still very much a lot of hate in my heart. I wasn't dating Kyle anymore, and he was the only person I liked, and I was just trying to feel numb. I'm not gonna lie. I used this dude transactionally just to not feel anything. So I was using sex to not feel anything. So I turned around, and the moment this dude started catching feelings, and he admitted his feelings to me, I was like, hey, we need to talk. So I had him come over, and we linked up one last time. And I was like, yeah, after this, we can't do this no more. And then he was like, oh, well, can we at least cuddle? Because we kind of got into a habit of cuddling after. Because, again, touch is a love language. And he
Yep.
was one of those dudes that it just didn't do shit for me. It wasn't at all. So I sat here and I was like, no, you need to go. So I got up, did my, self care thing that you're supposed to, because you're supposed to properly, go pee, clean yourself up as a woman. Just letting y'all know, if y'all not doing that, please go do that. Start doing that after sex.
I mean, I do it as a man. I get up, piss, and clean myself. So.
Exactly. Women should be doing the same thing. And then at that point, if you're, swollen, put a hot and cold compress down there, help yourself out. But I sat here and I brought him a towel to clean himself up, and I told him to clean himself up, and he has to leave. I didn't say bye to him, nothing. Like, he straight up, he felt hurt. And I mean, when I used to be a heartless person.
I mean, damn, if you don't send about his way, at least say bye.
No.
That's some heartless ass shit.
Nope. Didn't I when I tell you talking to younger me was like talking to a fucking brick wall. I would literally, if you tell me you leave in my life, I'm like, alright, cool, bet. I'll find someone else. Like this, that was the period I was a serial dater. And if you told me, or if I felt like you wasn't worth the fucking wave, I would literally be like, alright, next person. Who's
So
next?
you was really just dismissing your feelings, huh?
I was very dismissive of my feelings. I was very, and unfortunately that's something I've gotten a lot better at, and I'm starting to recognize the things that I do now that is dismissing my feelings. But I've started this whole 30-day challenge of, if I feel a certain way, I'm gonna express it versus me dismissing it. Which I don't like. This is ghetto. I don't like crying every fucking day. This shit's ghetto. But I gotta go through it. I want to heal. I'm not going to be healed, but I want to be healing.
Right.
And not just be hypocritical and just being in a house and not, you know, not really healing. I'm just avoiding people. No, I gotta figure shit out. I gotta deal with these emotions, or they're not gonna go anywhere. They're just gonna stay.
You know I'm gonna make you figure shit out. You know I'm gonna make your ass get out. I'll make sure you get out.
Of course.
It's happened before, so
Exactly. So ultimately, when it comes down to everything, like the bonds that I created, I can honestly say I have three major bonds with people I'm still connected with. The only reason I have a bond with Quinn is because of our child that is in heaven.
right.
And that bond is different. I can disassociate that bond, but there's three bonds, and the bonds that I have with those three people are different for each level. The
I
bond
mean,
that I have with Kyle is different than the bond that I have with Damon, and the bond that I have with Stanley is different from all the other two.
I mean, you're never gonna have the same type of bond with two different people.
That is
It's
correct.
it's just not possible.
And the thing
Everybody's
is,
different.
a lot of people will literally associate that. And the thing is, like, when I go into relationships, I try not to associate, you know, I try not to associate them with other experiences, because it's not their fault. Like, I'm not gonna punish you because my last ex cheated on me. Like, what the fuck am I gonna do? Come in here and accuse you of doing XYZ? That's wrong. You're a clean slate. You're a fresh fucking dry erase board. Let's write our story the way we need to write it. And it's not gonna be perfect, but this is our story to tell. And I sat here, and what I mean, like, the bond that I have with Damon, the shit that I went with Damon, I wouldn't tolerate from nobody else. Like,
Right.
he helped me form a lot of patience. Damon, the bond that I got from him, and the lesson I learned from him was patience.
Oh shit! Like my marriage definitely taught me a lot about myself. Um, it taught me how to deal with shit that I wouldn't have dealt with. Um, it taught me how to approach situations differently. Um, it just it overall taught me how to be a better man, if anything.
Ultimately, and the thing is, like, I say that breaking up sucks. I mean,
Absolutely.
like, ultimately, I felt like the only reason I was sad about Damon and Kyle was because I felt like I did everything I could, but it wasn't enough, and I failed. And as I got older with Damon, I realized that, like, look, I can't be mad because I did everything I could do. And it was just to the point where we were both beating a dead horse. We
So I got a
outgrew each
question.
other.
I got a question. I didn't mean to cut you off, but why do you feel like you failed? Why don't you instead think of it as a lesson learned?
Again, different period, different me. Kyle, I was literally in my early 20s, in my teens. He was my first boyfriend.
You were still wet
Damon,
behind the ears at that point.
huh?
You were still wet behind the ears at that point.
I was still very wet behind the ears. Still reeked of breast milk, Brad. Like, I was a baby. I was a cubbling. Like, I was a baby witch at that time. Like, I was still very wet behind the ears. I really didn't understand. Like, there's a song by Prince that I love so much, which is Adore. And I tell people, like, if I sit here and tell you that I adore you, that is deeper to me than saying I love you.
Yeah.
But there's a song by Prince called Adore. And it made me, and I, as an adult, I had to reevaluate that song. And it's like, there's a line that he says, if I ever held a hand, it was because I've never held yours. And he basically talked about every relationship leading him up to that person, taught him how to truly love that person. Like, all those bad fucking relationships showed you this is who gets to get all that love. If I ever kissed anybody's lips, it's literally because I never got an opportunity to do yours. And then now that I'm at your point, I know how to do it. And these are learning steps. And me reevaluating that song as an adult, I'm like, damn, that's deep. Shit.
A
All
lot
these
of
bad relationships.
yeah, that's crazy because a lot of times when we're listening to shit younger, when we're younger, we don't know what the fuck we're listening to.
No,
It's
no.
just, it sounds good. It's been plenty of songs that I've went back and reevaluated as an adult. Some songs it was like, damn, I shouldn't have been listening to that shit as a kid.
Should have
And
been listening to Welcome Back to the 99s and the 2000s and shit.
definitely should. And like that, the song that my daughter listened to, Barbie Girl, she shouldn't be listening to that shit. Like, when we're done, I want you to listen to that song and actually dissect the fucking lyrics. And she be singing that. And as a kid, I like the song too as a kid, but she shouldn't be listening to that shit.
I got you. I feel you. I feel you 100%.
And I didn't really. I mean, as a kid, I didn't dissect the lyrics. But one day she was like, "Daddy, can I listen to such and such?" I'm like, "Cool, whatever. I don't give a fuck. It's a nice little song." And then I was listening to it. I was like, "What the fuck is this kid listening to?" But it was like, I'm glad she, as smart as she is, I'm glad she don't understand. She can't like, read between the lines of what the shit is saying.
I
Was
I
bad.
will tell you like this. Look, when it comes down to when it comes down to lyrics and stuff, we learn a different thing. Like love songs hit different. I didn't understand that. Somebody was telling me that love songs hit different when you're in love, and I really didn't understand that. Like, I thought that certain songs can help me feel that way, but it actually truly does happen when you're in love. Like, you actually, the songs just sound different. They just hit different. All
It's more
kinds of other stuff.
relatable.
Exactly. And then now you can understand where their lyrics are coming from and all this other stuff. And now when you sit here and watch these sappy ass romantic comedies and romance movies, you're like, that was
Right.
me.
And then when y'all break up, you listening to Keith Sweat and Usher. So
Not Keith Sweat though.
that's one begging ass motherfucker.
Look, so when it comes down to the bonds, it's just like it's weird. So like for me, like when you find love, hold on to that love because some people don't actually find real love or their first love or their true love or even their soulmate in this lifetime. Some of these
I
people because we form these bonds with these people that is traumatic for us, and even then that brings me into the whole trauma bond thing. A lot of people are in relationships because of trauma bonds.
Yeah, and then since we're talking about love, a lot of people are in very lustful relationships and confuse it with love.
That is true. And the thing is, like, for me, I thought for the longest that, love and lust was one and the same. I really did. I understood, like, that, oh, well, in order for you to love someone, you got to be sexually desired by them. You need to have sex with them. In some cases, there's people who's in love with somebody who they never had sex with. So sex
Yeah,
isn't
yeah.
really required. It's just, it's an added bonus. And the thing is, like, yeah,
It's glorified.
it's glorified. But the thing is, like, as a person, people think that because I'm not having sex doesn't mean I'm not hypersexual. I am very
That don't mean
hypersexual.
that.
I am no. Apparently, according to other people that has been close to me in circle, I am boring sexually or something like that. I have just literally gotten to the habit of not giving my all when I want to go ahead and just unrelease everything. And why would I do that? For turn around and create more psychopaths? Because I again still have people in the collective wing waiting to see if I'm still stupid.
And that, I mean, when I was younger, I would give like all, but as I grew up, it's like no, you only getting like half of this shit.
Why? Why am I gonna give you all and we ain't married? That's when the
See,
kink kicks in. That's
it's not. It's not even that because I've had boring sex before, and I've had people who was fucking trash. I've had people who's been phenomenal, and it was the people who was trash that was like that made me think like I shouldn't be giving people everything.
like that's like you putting 110% into sex, and then the person who you having sex with isn't
It's
worthy
just
of
laying
that
on their back.
100%.
Right? They just land on their back. Like if you
You
don't
looking
get your
like a
ass,
dead fish, honey. No, what we're not gonna do. See,
if
my
you don't
problem
get
is
your
I have a
fucking wall,
disability. Everybody knows about it. I have endometriosis, and then because of my endometriosis, I take a lot of medication. Medication does cause me to have other issues in other directions where my sex drive, like physically, my sex drive is not there, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually, I want to get my back broken 3 times a day, if not 4 times, and even
listen,
5 times on Sunday. But my
my
body's like,
motherfucking
look.
my sex drive higher than Snoop Dogg.
Not higher than Snoop Dogg.
You know
Yeah,
how
we
high that
related.
shit is.
We related. Fuck, we're
I'm
related.
just saying.
And the thing is, my like, if I brought one of my exes on here, if I would have brought one of my exes on here, they would probably say the same thing. Cause Kyle will definitely attest to that. He's like, you boring. What? Coming from the girl who wanted to fuck me on a motorcycle bike, I was like, yes.
Listen, I don't give a fuck where we are. I done got head on the Ferris wheel before. I don't give a fuck.
Me
Like,
too. Well, I haven't got head. I've given on a Ferris wheel.
I don't
I've
give
even
a
fucked
fuck.
in the elevator before. So I
We
mean,
could be
like,
driving down the street. You better come on. What the fuck
my
are we
next
doing?
goal is to be on somebody's boat. That is my goal. And I'm still going to fuck somebody in every fucking state. So my next partner needs to understand when I say catch this flight. I want the neighbors on the balcony to know your name. You better be ready to go.
Listen, I fucked in 3 different countries. What you talking about?
That's where I'm at. Next.
Three different.
I only got Norway and fucking the US on my map. I'm literally got like, if I had a map, it would
I got Cuba, Canada, U.S.
See, look, he counting. But sex is nice. And I mean, honestly, for me, unfortunately, my body doesn't agree with what my mind and spirit wants. And it's like, I can't control that, but there's alternate ways to handle that. So I'm constantly thinking of sex. It's really bad, honestly. Sometimes it distracts me from doing shit. I'll be randomly just, I have a TikTok video where it literally talk about when you randomly having flashbacks, and it's me literally brushing my teeth, and then you can just like have flashbacks. I'm like, that's me. Like literally, that's where my mind goes. I could be at work and I'll be like, damn. Ooh, come on, get back to life. Back to life. We're here. And that's just it. Like I've had those moments because, especially if it's good and if I'm bonded to that person, it was bad. Honestly, like the first week, and I shouldn't have done it, but the day that my ex like asked me to come get my stuff, we had sex, and I reminisced about that for about a good 2.5 weeks, and then every other time I had to get rid of the like I have the videos for selling purposes on my account, but the videos, if I run across them, I'm like, damn.
After I got divorced, we were still having sex for like 2 months.
Y'all nasty.
No, we were still having sex.
Y'all nasty.
Yeah,
You said you might. I think you even told me that there might be a pregnancy scare now, and I was like, ooh.
I'm glad it didn't happen.
But that's a bond that y'all had with each other. Y'all was still messing around with each other. That was the first person you got married to and settled down. Well, you settled down with other people, but I mean, like married in the
Well, like the legit settled down.
Yeah. So I mean, like, ultimately though, it's like especially if touch is a love language, you kind of crave that person's touch, even if it's sexual, if it's something like that. Now, I'm telling people out there, if you guys are hearing out right now, if you deal with somebody who has hypersexuality, and let's say you're not hypersexual, or you're hypersexual and you have a disability like I do that does affect your sex drive physically, find alternate ways to work with your partner, to kind of go that way and correlate with them, be more spontaneous,
Bust that
things of
shit
that
open.
nature. Huh?
Just bust that shit open.
Bust that shit wide up on us.
So fucking stupid.
Wait a minute, we're still on podcast day, right? But just be mindful when it comes down to it, because for me, explaining to partners or potential partners that I have a high sex drive, but then my body won't allow me to act out on it. First and foremost, I got to be comfortable with you. Secondly, even if I'm comfortable with you and mentally and emotionally and spiritually, I want to do a split on the dick, eggplants. I can't do it because my body's like, nah, bro, you have a disability. Slow your ass down. Slow down.
So how do you know when you're comfortable with explaining that to them?
I let them know off rip. I let them know what my warning labels. Look, I have endometriosis. I take this. You're gonna have to deal with this. There might be days I may not want to deal with you. There may be days I want to be under you all the fucking time. Pick your struggle. Do you want to do this? I ain't got no time to be wasting. Time is money to me. Quality time is important.
Shit, I done had done a week off of work, and I'm like, what the fuck? What the fuck is my job at? Like, so yeah, that time is definitely money, especially when you have a child who wants a fucking iPhone 13, which she has, an Apple Watch, which she has, her
Which
own
I'm
fucking
wondering why in the world she's spoiled.
mind your business, her own bank account, like all of that shit. Like I gotta make money to make sure
And the
she
thing
telling me.
is, with relationships, it's the same thing, especially if quality time is a love language. Quality time is money to us. Quality time means I'm spending my time with you that I could be doing with other things. And ultimately, I have no problem with balancing quality time and making money because I'm an adult
I'm
and I realize.
glad you mentioned that. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Just want to say, because I'm an adult and I got bills to pay. Medical bills ain't no joke. Let me go ahead and talk about how fucking expensive my medication is again. $800 for 3 months?
Woo!
And y'all wonder why the fuck I'm moody all the fucking time and always try to be like, look, don't be mad if I don't say shit to you for a while. And if you sit here and waste my time, I get pissed off. Like, I don't like that, especially my emotions. My
Time
emotions
is
is.
something you can't get back.
Go. Huh?
Time is something you can't get back.
Exactly. But do I regret wasting my time with people? No, because at the time that's what I wanted to do. Am I upset that I could have used it for something else? Yes. Do I regret it? No. Ultimately, and it comes down to a person who has quality time as a love language, you have to be very mindful if that is not your same love language.
Yeah, no, I agree 100% because again, one of my love languages is quality time, and if somebody don't have time for me, I get upset. I be like,
Me?
"Fuck you!
Oh, I'm just saying. I mean,
Fuck
I
you!"
could understand if you give me a valid reason, then by all means, I understand. Like if you tell me, hey, I was at work, something came up with my family,
I mean,
bet.
obviously that, but when they don't have a valid reason, then it's like,
So you were
okay,
at home this whole time,
yeah,
and you just
okay,
didn't want to call or text me. I
you
mean,
can
like
stay
even
at
if you text me, I'm good, but you ain't do that.
then it's like you can stay your ass at home because
Do that. So let's get away from love languages and let's talk about trauma bonding. Some people stay in relationships in the toxic culture because of they want to have the fix, save, or validate my existence um, kind of bond with somebody. Like I'm gonna be with you because you need some fixing and I want to fix you. Women used to say, "Oh, he's a fixer upper." Uh oh.
okay, sorry, but I know somebody in this situation right the fuck now. Her and I have both discussed that he's not intellectually intelligent enough for her. Now, when I tell you this, so when I met this girl, the first day I met her, like in person or whatever, I was like, this motherfucker ghetto as hell. I don't want shit else to do with her after I leave this motherfucker's house. But I ended up fucking her, so it was like I had to stick around for a little bit. But as I got to know her, I was like, damn, this motherfucker's smart as fuck. Like when I tell you she is smart as fuck, you know, have you ever talked to somebody who said some shit or said a word and you're like, damn, I gotta look this shit up in the I gotta Google this word to see what the fuck it means. She's one of those type of people. And she would use these words in sentences and situations that nobody I know would ever use these words. So I was like, you know, okay, whatever. And that's how her and I bond grew, but just by getting to know each other. She this is another subject we said we would talk about, but the time she came in my life was wrong, but it was right. The timing was off, but I needed her when she came in my life, if that makes sense.
Oh no, it makes perfect sense. People never come when you want them to come. They come when they need to come.
Yeah, and that's why her and I never worked out. But anyways, I don't want to deviate too far, but you know, she's dealing with this guy or whatever, and we talk about this shit all the time about the DV. When if I say DV, domestic violence, the DV, the lying, um, the possible cheating, and I keep asking like, why the fuck are you still there? And we have a relationship to where she'll tell me whatever the fuck she needs to tell me, whether I want to hear it or not, and vice versa. You know, I tell her, your ass is there just because you don't want to be single. That's the only reason you're fucking there. Like, you need to let this shit go. You know, this dude ain't shit, and you fucking know it. And she was telling me about a situation, and this is where I knew she needed to leave this dude alone, but obviously she didn't. They was at his mom house or some shit. They got into it, and the mom was almost condoning it. The sister was like, "No, fuck that, leave her alone." And he said something like, "What do you think I'm abusing her? Do you think I'm beating her?" And the sister was like, "Yes, I do."
Mm.
And if you have a family member who knows you and you know that much, and you hear them saying this, you probably need to leave this motherfucker alone.
Yep.
And not only was, you know, her saying yes I do was perfect and that time, man, but it's the fucking truth.
True.
It was the truth.
And she's still in this relationship.
Yeah, I she showed me a picture. She sent me a photo of her a couple months ago where he pulled her hair out.
That is a dangerous situation. I'm gonna definitely pray for her. I would definitely
Yeah, and
try
she
to
had.
keep trying to talk to her. Ultimately, you can't be Captain Save a Hoe. I mean, you can
I
give her the
can't be.
resources to get her out of that, but that's it.
I've talked to her numerous of times, but um,
It could also be fear at this point now that's probably keeping her
that's
there.
it's definitely fear.
It's
It's
definitely fear. The
definitely fear. She
and
had they had an episode where they had got into it or whatever. She put him at the house. She had some other dude over there. He went crazy or whatever, smashed this dude car up and fucking left. It was a whole big ass deal. He ended up paying for the car because I mean, if it was whatever, we're not gonna go into that detail. But
I'm gonna say it like this: we want to take a safety break on that because I can see how this is hitting you in an emotional way.
no, no, I'm good. It's this is hitting me in an emotional way.
Oh, the
This,
alcohol, okay, the drinks,
oh,
it gets you in your feelings.
yeah, this is hitting me in an emotional way. So
See,
they had another situation to where they broke up or
careful
whatever.
telling everyone's business. I'm gonna give you that heads up, and that's why I said we're gonna safety break that because that's her business.
You're right. We gonna let that go.
Yeah.
That's why I never said any names either. So
Yeah, no, I try to keep it limited. The stories that I do tell is either from my perspective or if I've gotten permission from the person themselves to tell their story, and that'll be about it. Um, like I can't speak on their end of what happened, but I can speak on mine, and that's just it. Now, traumatic bonding again, fix, save, validate my existence, or even in that case, a fear tactic to keep them there. Chaotic and predictable roller coasters of emotions. The relationship mirrors the pattern of childhood experience. So if they were abused, they tend to stay in abusive relationships,
Yep.
or something in that nature. Like their relationships tend to be very chaotic, or if their childhood was chaotic, their relationships tend to be chaotic.
So do you?
Um,
I feel like this is a thing, and I mean I know it's a thing, but do you feel like some people they'll isolate you from your family and friends and then abuse you?
yes,
Where
that's
and
that
they
is a
got you in a
control tactic.
situation, yeah, they got you in a situation to where you have no help, no family, no
It's
friends.
not even just no help. They want it to the point where you can't escape them. So it's
Yeah,
a control tactic. It's a divide and conquer thing. If I divide you from your resources to save you, then there's no way you can leave me.
right,
And I've seen it happen in a personal experience of my life. So, and then I almost had it happen to me in a relationship where I started seeing it and I'm like, no, this ain't the wave. This ain't what we're about to do. We're not about
right.
to do that. And it was to the point where this person was also financially controlling. So they managed to make me lose a job that I had more high pay than they did. They actually took control over my vehicle, um, a lot of other stuff. And
Listen,
it,
I don't care. I mean, I make a good amount of money. You and I both know that. But if I deal with somebody who make more money with me, honestly, I don't give a shit because all that money is coming into the same house. It's all going into the same pot. We both shitting on the same toilet. So
this
I
was
don't
a
care.
younger person with a different mindset, and they were very controlling. And they're the reason I will never date a particular sign ever again, because every other person I've met in that sign has so many character traits of that same person I will never fuck around with. Again,
Understandable.
trauma bonding. Um, Another thing is I betray myself and all my needs to receive love. So basically, they will stop being themselves to keep a person in their lives. At one point in my last couple relationships, somebody tried to get me to be more angry and aggressive, and I'm more like, you're gonna do whatever you're gonna do, whether I'm here or not. Like, I'm not going
Right.
to change who I'm going to be. And I almost caved into that. They were like, you don't ever show anger, you don't do this. I was like, because I don't like how I feel after I'm angry. Like, I'm not
We
going to stop being who I'm going to be.
we've conversed about this before, right?
Yeah, we conversed about this.
Okay. So I
And
just want to make sure that I
because
was
they
clear on the
ultimately
page.
they wanted angry sex. That's ultimately what that came down to, and I wasn't about to cater to that either.
I see, and that's the thing. Like people like makeup sex. I hate
Toxic,
that. I hate that shit.
toxic.
If I'm mad at you, don't fucking touch me.
I want you to touch me
Nah,
so I know that
fuck
we're
that.
good after this fight, but I don't want
Don't
to have
even
sex with you. Fuck that
don't
noise.
even
I don't
touch
want
me.
that shit.
Don't fucking touch me. We're good. I'll tell you we good. Don't fucking touch me.
Just come
I
hug me.
hate it.
We're done.
Don't,
You feel
hell no.
better?
Don't,
You feel good? Come
no,
hug me.
hell no.
See the
Don't
difference between us? I ice and cold, ice and cold. He's a fire sign,
don't
I'm a
hug
water
me.
sign, ice and cold.
Don't fucking hug me. Cause then
and
if
and the
you
thing
hug me,
is,
if you hug me, I'm a cave, and I don't want to cave. So
you want to stay angry?
yeah, I want to stay angry. Shit.
So stubborn. So the last thing
Very.
the last thing I really want to discuss. So I'm gonna discuss this is authentic bonding. Bonding is you learn and see and hold space for all of that person. They're good, they're bad, they're ugly. In some cases, it may cause them to be triggered. So you have created a safe spot for them to be able to be triggered, acknowledge their triggers, and to cope with their triggers, especially if they have any past traumas. You have a safe, concise, and insightful, so you're willing and able to listen to this person. You're present to this person. Um, my relationship is based on freedom, accountability, and mental peace. So that means that you are taking accountability when you're feeling bad. You're not trying to put it back on, oh, my past traumas. You're not trying to guilt or blame your partner for not doing something for you because you feel as though they're not doing it adequate enough. They're doing the best in their abilities, and you're holding yourself accountable when you go out of range. I do the work to meet my own needs first, so you are meeting your own needs. Again, how can you be good for other people if you don't meet your own self first? Like, if you don't take care of yourself, how can you take care of other people? And he muted himself. I don't know what he did. Mute. You muted. I don't know what you're saying. I don't know what you're going through in your life and your life stories.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was getting a FaceTime.
Was it from Little Potato, the tiny
No,
potato?
it was from my A1 birthday.
Oh, okay. So another thing that a lot of people don't realize is you should complete yourself. And like when you tell a person you complete me, that's actually a trauma bond. You're telling a person like I'm not complete without you. I I'm a firm believer of you enhance who I
Mm.
am. So the thing is, I kept telling my ex and a few other people like I like my peace too much. I've been single for so long that I've gotten so peaceful within myself that my peace is me. Like I'm happy with who I am. Yes, I'm getting better. I'm not going to sit here and get stagnant. And I don't want you to complete me. I want you to enhance me.
Okay, now I get what you're saying. I can agree with it, but I don't think um somebody saying you complete me is always a trauma bond.
That is true.
Um,
It could just be wording.
yeah, it could be wording because when I tell somebody they complete me, it's more so on a balanced spectrum. You know, they compliment me in some way, shape, or form. Like wherever I may be lacking in that we're gonna work on fixing, they complete me in that aspect.
Oh, oh
So
that was beautiful.
so that's for me. That's the you complete me deal.
That is beautiful, and honestly, that is true because there is some
You a
things
dick. I
that
just
people,
want you to know that.
huh?
You a dick. I just want you to know that.
We're related. Just remember that I'm your niece. You can't get rid of me. I'm your favorite niece.
I never
Um,
want to unless it's a bag of Cool Ranch Doritos.
if the
Go
right
ahead.
person say, "Hey, I want to take your niece up off your hands," and you like them, just saying, just gotta let me go.
Absolutely not.
I got it. But no, that is beautiful. That is a concept to actually reevaluate to kind of look at because that is true. Because some people, you may not be able to calm yourself down, but your partner may be able to calm you down. Your
Yep.
partner, your partner, especially if you bonded with somebody, because some people will get in a relationship and not try to learn their person, and it's like it's weird trying to like put puzzle pieces together that don't match. Like you're trying to
Right.
fit it and it's not fitting because it's not the right piece. But if you have the right bond with somebody, they're gonna get it. They're gonna understand that something's wrong even when you don't explain it. And the reason why I knew my ex knew he was in love with me is because I can pinpoint when something was wrong with him or when his energy shifted. He's like, you can tell when my energy shift. I'm like, and he's like, I'm not even doing anything different. I'm like, I can tell just like you can tell for me. That means that you are bonded. That means you are caring enough to understand the shift in energy. So
Yep.
if you didn't give a flying fuck about a person, that none of that shit would even cross your mind. You're not going to cross it. But
Yep.
ultimately, when you form that bond, literally unspoken cues become president. It just speaks different. And as a woman, I can see, especially when I'm in a relationship and I'm invested in a relationship, I can see when things are wrong. How I kind of evaluate it. I play this chess. I used to be a chess player, if y'all didn't know. I'm actually still very good at it, but
Oh
I'm
shit!
very strategic. Huh?
I didn't even know that.
I won 3 championships in elementary school and in middle school, so
Fucking
One in
nerd.
middle school and two in elementary school, and I beat some middle schoolers. I'm a smart ass person,
You're a
but I'm
fucking
not acting
nerd.
like a dumbass. I am a nerd, 100% proud of it.
That's
But
that's a good thing though.
exactly, I'm unique and I like learning, so I want to continue progressing and being better. So my partner has to understand that. But I look at everything in a level of if this happens, then I need to do this. I used to tell people the way my brain works is the standardized test that Susie has 5 shirts and has 10 pairs of jeans and 3 pairs of shoes. How many different possible outcomes are? That's literally how my brain works. I'll think of every fucking outcome. Now it's like I tell people my brain is like I am a Windows tab on the computer and I have about 18 different tabs open. One of them's porn, one of them's music, and I don't know which one it is playing either one of them. I'm pretty sure about 7 of those are porn, and then
What
like
the
one of
fuck
them's
you need
music.
7 tabs of porn for?
Mind your business.
Shit.
And it's
Fuck. You
it's just
little
how my
nasty
brain works,
bastard.
and it's so bad. And it's like
Your
when I
brain
finally
fucked
start
up.
closing tabs, 5 more tabs open up. I'm like, damn, these pop-up ads. I was just looking for fridges. What the fuck? That's literally how my mind works. But I've gotten a lot better, and it's like the reason why I knew the bond that I had with my ex was authentic for me was it caused me to face a lot of traumas that I didn't want to face, and I felt comfortable enough to face them and to better myself. And
Right.
honestly, it helped because of him. I learned to like get my skin back in order, find my self love again. Because this heartbreak really put me in a different perspective of maybe I really wasn't truly loving myself the way I needed to love myself the last 4 years.
And
Even if I was,
self love is huge.
and it is, and
That
that's
shit
a
is
bond you need
huge.
to have with yourself.
Yeah,
And I
because
had to.
a lot of people get in relationships and they worry so much about my partner, my partner, my partner, my partner, my partner, and lose themselves.
They do.
They forget about who they are.
And you know
And I
what
feel like
was
that's why a lot of relationships go
fail,
wrong. You need
fail.
to remain you and do what you got to do for your partner. It's possible. People do it all the time, but so many people be worried about pleasing their partner and forget about them.
Exactly. My thing was with him, he showed me how to focus on myself because there would be days that I would just come and visit him and he'll have bath water running and tell me you need to have a moment. And I legitimately forgot how much I really needed to have those self-care moments. And he was like washing your face and this, that, and the other. Like he would help me with it, but it was still like when I'm not around, do this stuff. So it got me into a routine. And when I was on my trips, like, okay, I need to wash my face because for me that was just me reconnecting with those moments of him, and it just kind of did that. So I got into the habit, and now my face is clear to the point I ain't even gotta put that much fucking makeup
Hey,
on. Hey, so
I don't got to put none on.
anyway, I learned a lot of stuff from him in the short matter of time, and like I'm mad about the situation between him, yes, but then there were so many good things that I learned, and that's how I know that the relationship was authentic on my end. I can't speak on
Yep.
his end, but it helped me learn a lot of things, and it helped me like, okay, this me doing this face care routine is a self-love moment. It's me sitting here and appreciating myself more. Me having these moments and bonds in the shower with myself, it's bringing me back. Okay, I need to start facing these unhealed traumas that I have because in
That's
order
it.
for me to
And that's a good thing because a lot of people focus so much on the negativity. They hate this person and forget about all the good shit that happened.
exactly.
The good shit is what causes progression. If you're thinking about all the negativity, you hating this person, hating constantly, you're gonna stay stagnant.
Exactly. I'm not going to heal. I'm not going to get better. I'm not going to do any better. Like I don't I didn't feel hate for him. I
I need you to
felt
talk
hate
to
for the
these people.
situation. Huh?
I need you to talk to these people.
Oh, okay. He's taking stepping away. I sat here and I literally had to I stopped formulating hate for people. Like I just hated the situation or how it ended or anything else like that. Like I don't hate that me and my ex husband broke up. I hate that we divorced because I felt like at the moment we failed. But then I had to realize that we he was there for the time that he needed to be there. And with my ex, he came at a time where I was like, I'm about to do a solo pregnancy. Fuck being in a relationship. I'm good. I don't need nobody. I love myself. And I really thought I had found a point of loving myself so much because I started, feeling better. I really wasn't in the hospital as much. I was doing a lot of self-care routine for myself, like once a week. I was really thriving on the podcast. And then boom, ex popped up. Then he actually showed me that I was still pouring too much into other people, not giving time to myself. He also helped me realize that, washing my face is a part of my self-care routine. So now every day I wash my face twice a day now, to the point where I'm only breaking out when I need to break out, and then my skin's getting more clear. I'm really not needing to put foundation on anymore. It's going to be to a point where I ain't going to have to do it no more at all, except for some eyeliner. But ultimately, he showed me that the self-care routine versus that I had before really wasn't working out the way it needed to, and showing that sometimes I do need to take those time to decompress and not give in to everybody and step away from him. Like, despite how everything ended with me and him, I learned so much from him. And the thing is, it's like I don't feel hurt because he said something to me today, because me and him, we kind of started talking again a little bit,
Un
and
poquito.
huh?
Un poquito.
Poquito. He sat here and he said something about that hurt because this is his shirt. This is the first piece of clothing I got from him, but I have to do laundry today. So this is the shirt I picked up because it was the only clean one I had left, because it's now that time for me to do laundry again. And his first thing, I was like, please don't come for me for wearing your shirt, blah, blah, blah. And technically it's mine because you didn't want it back. And he was just like, well, that sounds like that hurt. I'm like, no, not really, because I don't really associate this, or even your kids, because I still have his kids, the background on my watch. I don't associate that with bad things. I don't want to associate our relationship to anything bad. Like, yeah, the situation was bad, but that's something we can overcome if we're adult enough to apologize and acknowledge the problem, which a lot of people don't want to do a lot of the times in our generation. We don't want to admit when we're wrong. We don't want to sit here because we're so scared of rejection and everything else like that. But again, we're talking about bonding today. We're not talking about rejection, so I'm not going to dive down into that. But
we'll get into that in 2 weeks.
In about 2 weeks. He know. My uncle just inserted himself in my damn podcast indefinitely. Y'all gonna see his face way too much. And our podcast will go fucking longer than a fucking hour every fucking time. But ultimately, bonding can be different. It can lead down different ways. A lot of people don't understand that bonding can lead you into different kinks in life too.
Yep.
And this is where we're gonna end. We're gonna end this subject, and we're gonna just go into kinks and talk about bonding and kinks. It also correlates with love language, because people with touch also kind of are into kinks. I'm not gonna lie,
oh shit, that's why fucking touch ain't part of my love language.
Yep, touch is a love language. If the right person's there, because I gotta have trust and communication. Hey. As a person who can tell you, who's into the kink industry, who's been in the kink industry, I used to be a dominatrix when I was, slightly younger. I used to work in some of the dungeons in the St. Pete Clearwater area for a good minute. I can tell you that those bonds that I created with some of those people were very interesting bonds. Some of them were very legitimate, like, hey, this is just cash exchange bonds, and I've had some real, like, people, like, even when I wasn't performing an act or service for them, they were very good friends, they were very good colleagues. When it comes down to touch, it's a very trusting thing, and having that bond and understanding involves a lot of communication. It involves a lot of stuff like, understanding what your partner's limitations are, and going down that line. Like, you have to be able to bond with a person in order to form kinks with them, or even open them up the lines to kinks. My uncle is vanilla. It's okay. He just creates psychopaths, apparently. He's very vanilla.
Listen, I am not vanilla. I'm not into that kinky shit. Like, I just want to blow your motherfucking back out, put you on my shoulders, pin you against the wall, eat the cat, shit like that. But
Ugh. Time out. Pineapples. I don't want to hear that. You nasty.
I'm not into all that fucking 50 Shades of Gray shit. Like,
No, it's not. It's not even just 50 Shades of
I'm not
Grey.
into
Like,
dominatrix. I'm not getting my ass beat. What am I gonna
look,
do?
I had somebody literally just wanted me to degrade him in a way of me screaming how much of a piece of shit he was the entire time, and I got paid $50
Fuck
an hour for that shit. That was the
that.
easiest shit I've ever done in my life. But easily, full blown in gear, just telling him how much of a worthless piece of shit he was, and he was into degrading. I was like, I can do this all day. I can do this all day.
Shit, I could degrade a motherfucker
I'm a
all
different
day.
person now. I'm civil. I'm vanilla ish. But then
Thank
again,
God.
I'm quick to tell you in a heartbeat if, as my partner, be like, yo, so I'm a little bored. Let's go do something kinky. Let's go for a drive. I'm quick like that. Go for a drive and just randomly find a spot in a corner. And
Should I
then,
fuck her on top of the car? I don't give a fuck.
ooh, on top of the door open, just like, ooh.
This reminds me of this time. This girl, right?
Oh Lord, he about to tell his story,
We
his kinks spades.
we was at this wedding or whatever, right? And we both got trashed. She had this nice skirt on. I'm playing with her on the way home or whatever. Back to her place because I
You
don't
might
remember.
need to. You might. I'm getting a ding here. You might need to be a little subtle and PG about this conversation.
You know what? I'm gonna leave this conversation alone.
Yep. I. If you want some after dark stuff, follow me on Twitter. My Twitter is garbage. It's straight garbage. But I'm gonna just tell y'all like this. Ultimately, you have to have a form of trust and a bond with the people that you do that line of work with. And even if it's not like in the traditional sense, because primal kinks is not necessarily that something that's bad, something that's where it's a dom, an alpha thing. There's so many different kinks, loves. It's that, but you have to be able to form a bond with a person in order to even dive down into that relationship. And I mean, I can really go into kinks all day, every day, no problems, and make that a whole subject without going into the dominatrix, man. Because I mean, like some of these people talk about, well, I've had threesomes. I'm like, you're still kind of vanilla, still kind of boring. Talk to me when your girl's sitting here helping you tag team somebody else and y'all each other and stuff. Then we good. Other than that, like I don't want to hear that.
Those people exist. Shit,
Me,
I ain't found
I'll
them.
sit
I ain't
here and
found
hold
them.
your legs and talk about you better do better. Better do better. Hold her legs while you talking about, bruh. No, I know you can stroke better than that. Do it. I'll be a whole coach. You don't need me in your ear during those moments because I've
Damn.
done it. I still know porn stars to this day that I'm still very cool with. If I really wanted to go to parties, like I have a different lifestyle out of what everybody else knows, and the reason why I became so tamed now as an adult is because I've learned my lessons with prior experiences. You don't throw everything out in the first couple months because then they get entitled to that shit. You take somebody you've been with for like 3 or 4 months to a fucking party,
Oh, okay, okay.
quotation marks for those who are going to be listening to the audios later, party, with said entertainer and adult entertainers. And then now they think that they're entitled to this every time they're having a party. Bruh, like, I brought you here so you can see the lifestyle that, of some of my friends that I'm cool with. Just because they're in that lifestyle doesn't mean I'm necessary. I just like to watch. Voyeurism is a goddamn thing. I like to watch. I want people to watch me. We're good. Full blown. You know what? All day.
Next subject.
Next subject. We gonna keep it moving. I was starting to have flashbacks of
Clearly, and I'm sure everybody can see that.
I was having some flashbacks in my life my twin's life. That's what I tell people. Like, when if you met me when I was younger, that was my twin. I'm a different person. We molted out. I'm a butterfly now. That was my caterpillar phase. We're better. It's still there. The remnants are still there, but But ultimately, be careful and wary of your bonds.
Yes, I agree with that 100% because everybody you meet, you're not meant to form a bond with. Everybody
Exactly.
you meet, they don't deserve a bond of yours.
And the thing is, like, and the reason why this became a subject is because I told my uncle I did a card reading for myself, um, not too long ago, and I also had other people do card readings for me because I've been kind of like blocked on my insight, and I was doing like soulmate readings and stuff like that where they were like, yeah, your soulmate is, the person you were with last, and they're gonna go down some hardship. And then I was like, they're not right. I don't think my soulmate's gonna go down some hardship. I don't even think my last was my soulmate. Blah blah blah. So I did my own card reading, and ultimately I did 3 different card readings on 3 different decks, and they all said the same shit, which is scary and very precise. Where it was telling me that I have somebody in my life that has deep feelings for me, but they haven't made it known, and they have a deep connection with me. And then my last is my soulmate, and I'm gonna probably be back with them within 5 to 6 months, depending on what path they take and if they can come to the self realization that their feelings are what their feelings are. And unfortunately, I can't do nothing about it. I just have to wait and see. And then there's somebody who's going to come in my life soon that I should not form a bond with. Ultimately, my cards have been telling me do not form new bonds. And new bonds meaning if they're a friend, I shouldn't fuck them. If I've never fucked them, that's a new bond. Or
I'm glad the
reopen
cards
any
telling you that.
existing bonds.
I'm glad the cards telling you that.
Yeah, no form new bonds. So ultimately, bonds can come in different forms. It can be making friendships, having sex, you know, fucking counter by proxy, something of that nature. And ultimately, I just tell people bonds come differently. Like, I form bonds with people I'm at work with, but the bonds that my cards are telling me is not to form any romantic bonds in any way, shape, or form. But the people I work with that I've been around for the last couple of weeks, they're like now my work family. And we've been around each other. We've dealt with like fights, we've dealt with disagreements, we've drunk together, we've been, having hookah together, eating
That's what
dinner and
happens
lunch
when you be
together.
around people for so
For
long.
exactly. And the thing is, they done see me have an emotional breakdown this week, and they were just like very supportive, and they're there, and we're just very like there for each other. So I tell people, like, bonds come in different ways, shapes, and forms, and you have to know what bonds you can keep and what bonds you should cut. Sometimes some bonds go past their expiration date, and you hold on to it because you think that because a person's been there for so long that it's beneficial. And
But
some
how do you
bonds,
know when to cut them off?
sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's hard. I
But
had some
at what point do you know
when you
that
get
okay, I
tired of
need to
sick
get
and
this
tired
person?
of doing stuff for them. Like, I could say there was a girl I used to give advice to, and I've known her since when I was like 14 years old. Used to give advice to her over the same shit, and she wasn't listening. And then I started like realizing, because she wasn't listening, it made me really look at our relationship. And the more and more I looked at the relationship, she was a taker
Uh
and
huh.
not a giver. So I was like, I have to cut this. This is a bond I have to cut. Some bonds are weighted, some bonds get to there. Some people, I've realized that you think that they're supposed to stay in your life because of the bond you have, because they've known you for, 6, 7 plus years. Sometimes those people are not really there because they want to be there. They're there because you're entertainment to them, and they can sit
It's
here and put on a face.
it's funny that you say that because I lost I lost a friend. This was like shit, probably a while ago. We had been friends at this point for like 10 years. Now, when she knew me, um, I wasn't doing anything with my life. I was just a fucking bum, like honestly. And I had all the time to devote to her. But then once I got my shit together, I started focusing on my life. I was in a brand new relationship at this point that was forming into a marriage, and she cut me off like that because I didn't have time for her. Like, and for me, I thought it was fucked up. I thought it was something that is like you're gonna throw 10 years away over me getting myself together. Over me forming a bond with somebody who I've spent time with, over me, starting my own family somewhere. You're gonna cut me off because of that,
Yep.
and then I end up seeing her maybe 3 years ago. Let's say, I was at her cousin's house because I mean it was just so ironically they were doing something for Juneteenth because it was June 19th. This was a couple years ago, and I
June
didn't.
19th and Father's Day is on the same day this year, by the way.
But I didn't think anything about it. I was taking my daughter home that day, and I called her up like I'm gonna go ahead and stop by or whatever. She like cool, whatever. Can you do A, B, C, and D? I'm like, yeah, I got you. Don't worry about it. So she took my keys, and told me, and she ended up telling me like the person who cut our friendship off was coming over, and I'm like, why you gonna put me in that situation? Why you gonna put me in that predicament? You gonna take my keys and stuff like that? You know I can't fucking leave. She's like, I'll give you your keys when she get here. The girl got there. She spoke to everybody. I took my keys, got the fuck out of here because I'm not gonna. Because like when she cut me off, I tried to mend the
The
relation.
relationship.
I tried to mend it, but she wasn't for none of that shit. So when you do me wrong, I don't kiss nobody's ass. Like I just don't.
And the fact that you went out of your way to try to bond it, knowing you on a personal level, for you to do that, that showed that you really was trying to save that. Me on the other hand, I'm so quick to other people, if you leave out my life, I'm like, all right, cool, but deuces. I will only try a little minute amount. Certain people I've tried to keep the bond, like when my friend Jasmine, well, she's not my friend anymore. My ex photographer dropped me, and I've had her for 10 plus years. I didn't even try to connect that. I just tried to save my face at that point because at that point I was over it. When it
Yeah,
came to my friend Kat, I at least tried a couple times, but then when I felt like it was just hitting a brick wall, I gave up. With my ex, I promise you to this day, I probably, if because I'm still fresh on it, if he was to sit here and say let's start over, I might let that slide, but it's got to be a mutual thing and me setting boundaries.
right.
But I actually tried. I tried to be there. I tried to show that
I know.
I all of that.
I know. Because we've
And
we've had our conversations about it.
and exactly, and you kept telling me like I would have dropped his ass like a fucking bad habit and shit, like a fucking crack habit, like in a heartbeat.
That shit. I would have got rid of that motherfucker quicker than somebody with braces who want to get rid of him.
But I mean that's just it. Everybody's a little bit different. It just depends on how you feel about that person. I felt really bad about Kat, and I did try at least 3 times, and after the third time, and I mean like this was 3 times within 3 days. I'm like, okay, one, all right, two, all right, three, okay, you're out. That's it. Ain't gonna try this no
Like, oh,
more.
motherfucker.
And then with this one, I mean, I definitely was still wanting to be there. I still, in a sense, want to be there. I care about them. Fucking disgusting. I fucking hate it here. Being in love sucks.
Yes, it fucking sucks. It
Fucking hate it
sucks
here.
ass.
Fucking sucks. I'm part of the sad bitch crew, but I'm happy because
Hey,
I
I ain't a
feel
part of
part of
that crew.
something.
Fuck that crew.
Huh?
I'm not a part of that crew.
I'm part of the sad bitch crew, bro. I'm the fucking valedictorian at this point.
If you
But
don't drop your motherfucking balls out your vagina.
But bonds is a very interesting thing. I
Yeah.
find it to be fascinating the bonds that we create as we get older and as an adults. Like we have our natural bonds as with our parents, with our kids, with our partners. with people that come in our lives, with friends. You just got to know the expiration date, and it takes two to tango, and everything it takes two. You can't be the only person
Yeah.
to make any bond work or any relationship work. And
I'm glad that you said like we form bonds with kids because I mean if we want to be 100% honest, I never understood unconditional love until I met my daughter.
a lot of people do, and a lot of people replace the love that they have for another adult with their unconditional love for a kid because they know their child is going to love them regardless.
I would never replace it.
I know
Um,
you won't, but I'm talking about, as we said
yeah,
earlier in
other
this
people, yeah.
podcast, to other women. But we are pushing my limits at this point. We are almost at damn near 2 hours. God damn it.
Hey, you kept going. What was I supposed to do? Say, hey, we
Hey,
reached
hey,
our
we're on a
hour
time
limit.
limit. We're on a time limit, kids. We're on a
Yeah,
time limit. We're on a
I'm not
time
gonna say
limit.
that. That's bullshit. We're
But
gonna hit the
ultimately, 2 hours and 10 minutes. Anywho, as my picture decided to disappear yet again. Anywho, like I said, bonds, they're tricky. They go through a lot, and I thank my uncle for being here, for coming here, for being amazing. 41 undetected stuff. Yay! 21 minutes of frames dropping. Anywho, ultimately, I'm actually very happy that you came, that you decided to venture into this adventure with me and deal with me in my
I actually
BS.
like it.
Huh?
I actually like it.
I'm gonna need you to stop, dealing with me in my BS. So for
Live.
everybody who's still stuck it out for the 2 hours and 10 minutes, y'all are some fucking troopers
Troopers.
for real. Cause me and my uncle would be on the fucking phone for 80 fucking hours talking about bullshit. Promise you, my uncle's a great distraction. If you need anybody to talk to, ladies, he's single.
Instagram T Fierce _3.
Can't stand him. Anywho, but my uncle is single as a Pringle. Um, somebody told me the other day, Pringles are not single though. They're in a party pack. I was like, damn. I can't even use
Hey, they had a point though. They
They did. I
definitely
can't
had a
even be
point.
mad about it. Like my uncle is single as a Pringle. So ultimately, though,
You can put my Instagram in the chat.
I guess T fears, T fears,
_3.
T fears underscore T fears underscore three. I hate you so much.
I love you too. You're the fucking best.
Underscore three. I swear to God, and that's his IG. I don't know. I'm disconnected from the chat. Let's try that again, because I'm definitely not on there right now. But guys, my uncle is amazing. I love his conversations. I love him when he's not pissing me the fuck off and being the bane of my
It's so
existence.
easy to piss you off though.
Look, it's only because you know how to piss me off. Other people try so hard. They want to get under my skin so bad. But this is why I said you are more like a friend to me, like a sibling than
That's
anything.
7.
It's like I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you. I'm like, bro, as you are, you get on my last fucking nerves.
Because I know, like, when we're on the phone and I know I'm about to say something that's gonna piss you off, I'm already laughing because I know.
Because you just get on my nerves. But other than that, ladies and gents, I will be back in 2 weeks. Thank you so much for tolerating us for 2.5 hours. What seems like goddamn 80 fucking hours. Just, you guys should know the motto right now. Stay hydrated. Check on your strong friends.
I'm
Check on
very
your family
hydrated.
members. Make sure he ain't shit faced tomorrow. But check on your favorite family members. And if you find love, enjoy that shit. If you find a real legitimate bond, enjoy that because some people don't get
Yes,
that in that lifetime. And
and
understand what bonds you need to get rid of and keep
let's start checking on each other mentally. Like that's very important.
all the time.
Um, I come from very serious work background, so I'm obviously not gonna get into what I do or what I've done. But among the things that I've done, suicide is a very, very, very high rate. We need to check on these people at all times. We need to ask how their mental are. We need to make sure they're good. Cause just people don't understand. Just the little acts is what means more than anything.
Yep.
Just the little checking up on. That's why words of affirmation is definitely one of my love languages. Just asking how somebody's day is going. It means a lot to people who you don't know what they're going through, who feels like nobody is there for them. So just regardless of if you know what they're going through or not, because you never really know what nobody's going through. They be smiling one day and boom, 10 minutes later they're off themselves. So definitely check on people's mental. I'm a huge advocate of mental health.
And
Please
I'm
check on
proud of
these.
you. I'm very proud of
Please,
you.
please, please, please check on these people.
I agree. And he would know more than I do. I've lost people personally and he's witnessed a lot more than I can speak on. And I can just say it like this. Tell people that you're proud of them. Tell them that you love them every day. Even if you may not like them at that moment, but you know you still love them. Tell them that you love them. Check
Yeah.
on them. See if they're
Ask them,
good.
how are you doing mentally?
How's your mental? Have you been hydrated? Because ultimately you don't know what a person's going through. Me getting told by somebody who I barely know saying that they are proud of me and it's easy to be proud of me almost fucking made me cry. And it wasn't from the person I wanted to hear it from at the time, but God, that felt fucking great. It's exactly what I needed at the time.
Yeah.
It's you never know what a person's going through mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and I tell people like this. Tell people you are proud and be legitimate. Don't be fake about it. Tell people that you are legitimately proud of them. Hug your friends because they will be there now, but they could be gone in a blink of an eye. Appreciate those
Yeah.
bonds that you have. And ultimately take care of yourself. Self-love
Yep.
is the best love and self-care is the best care because if you can't take care of yourself, how you expect to take care of others?
You can't.
So, from both me, Reiku, your friendly neighborhood witch, and my uncle, I hope you guys have a wonderful week, wonderful weekend. Just continue detoxing and just know that there's a safe space for you guys. If you follow me on social media, you know I have safe space created for people to vent. And if I can't help you personally because I'm going through my own stuff, I have other people who may not be going through stuff and they'll be willing and able to help you, or at least give you to point you in the right direction to find
Yep.
some resources.
I'm
So,
willing now.
so with that being said, I love you guys. Stay hydrated, stay blessed, and have a wonderful, wonderful night.